Hello, and coming up next will be Correct Me If I'm Norm, but first, the winners of the very first annual Hamlet-wide pumpkin carving contest are going to be announced right now. And all of the following winners will get a $50 Epicurean gift card. Roscoe Page has won for the grossest pumpkin. Winifred Marion has won for the cutest pumpkin. Penny Meyer has won for the most colorful pumpkin. And the grossest pumpkin award goes to Jack. And the winners of a $100 cash gift for the People's Choice Award is Kenneth Bendiner. So come on down to the Epicurean and check out all these pumpkins, or look at our Instagram feed and look at all those great pumpkins.
Hello and happy Friday evening or afternoon or whatever. Coming at you live from the Nook at the Epicurean on RadioFreeRhinecliff.org. This is Correct Me If I'm Norm, and I'm your host, Norm. And my guests tonight are from left to right, and they're in fabulous Halloween costumes. So when I introduce you, please tell me about your costume. Claire Marziotti here from South Canada town of Rochester, New York.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
dressed tonight as Maxine Van Date, your COVID nurse.
Oh, sweet. Love that. I wasn't sure what that was. And my next guest is Casey Grady here from the New Forest in England.
And I'm retro. I've come as Nancy Reagan's mastectomist.
Oh, wow. Sort of a historical reference. The kids are going to love that costume.
Here's the jar with F Lady and her breast on it.
And just to Casey's left and my right is Steve Stinky Miller.
Hello, everyone out there.
Yeah. And what's can you tell us about this strange thing?
I am the boy who liked cheese too much.
Oh, wow. Another high concept costume. I came as a puppy dog again this year. I know it's I do that a lot, but that's what I am. So these people here, collected here, Claire, Casey, and Stinky, I met. Claire's pointing to the cocktail. Wow, I guess we're breaking to the cocktail hour right away. Could we get some cocktail music up?
I chose whiskey sour.
These people are thirsty. That was the end of my sentence. These people are really thirsty. Well, tell us about your whiskey sour. What went into it?
Whiskey and sour.
Oh, really? That's it. Where do you get sour from? Does Adams sell that?
No, that is something that comes. It's a standard drink in the Miller household. Sour.
Sour.
Yeah.
Really? What else do you have it in?
It's sugar and fucking whatever. Lemon. Oh, I'm sorry. I just used a really bad word, and I'm sorry about
That's
that.
okay. Don't
It's
fucking
part
do
of
it
my
again.
Costume.
Yeah.
Fucking cheese.
All right, good. Well, you shook it up. Thank you very much. I'm going to shake it some more just for effect. And we have glasses here with ice in them.
Maraschino cherries.
And do you want to pour these, or should I pour
That's
it for
attention
us?
to detail.
Okay, good. Are you going to stick your finger in the cherry thing, or did you bring
I
it up?
washed my hands, but...
Did you? What were you doing with your hands before
use
that?
your pen. That's it.
All right, here's one for Claire. Here's one for Casey.
Just use your glasses to get the cherry out.
Here's one for Steve. Oh, I can
get a
smell
little,
it.
This is terrible radio, but I'm going to go get a skewer.
What kind of liquor is in here?
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. All right, here. Somebody needs more already. I'm not going to name names or point fingers, but Casey.
He'll say
Yeah.
Claire because he keeps mixing.
Yeah.
So.
All right, good. Jack Daniels. Now you are currently a director of television commercials. That's what you did, and you did a Jack Daniels thing,
yeah.
right?
I did a Jack Daniels spot about 3 years ago.
You did a bunch of them, right?
Yeah, and the best part was casting. We were using all employees or people that lived in Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Lynchburg, Tennessee.
As
Terrible
in
name.
David Lynch?
Terrible name. Not such a great town, but whatever. And
Can you do the accent?
I know
Can
that
you
would be
mock
really
them?
bad. But I will tell you this: in sitting there casting the distillery workers, they came in one by one, and this one woman who I loved as she walked through the door, probably because she didn't have her teeth in. She sat down, and she said her name was Hiawatha Kitty McGee.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
We all were like, "She's hired."
What a great name!
Hiawatha Kitty McGee. This is the new name of this drink, Hiawatha Kitty McGee.
That's better.
It's a better drink.
Better than whiskey sour.
Yeah.
All right. Good looks. Oh, look, I got one. Who wants the first maraschino cherry? They're hard to secure with these coffee stirrers from the fabulous Epicurean in Rhinecliff. So I was going to say these people. I met each of you like 35. I did the math like 35 years ago, which is forever.
That's dead in gay years.
Yeah. At the Chrysler Building, we were all working for an ad agency down there, and Maxine Petro took me. I
God
showed
rest
up
her
my
soul.
first day a week. No, she's still with us, isn't she?
I think
Does
she's
anybody
with
hear
us.
from her?
No.
I hope she's listening. That was Claire who said that, Maxine.
She did.
She knew
with
that.
Jim
And-
Patterson.
And she, what was the book?
Bikini Flies.
But she did other books. She did a book called
Man, Baby.
Manshare.
Yeah.
You remember this?
Gin Manshare and Baby Dreams.
Baby
And then
Dreams.
finally ended with Man Baby.
No, really?
Share Dreams.
All right, you're making that part up.
She-
H-E-R.
But she does write with Jim Patterson now.
Yes.
Who,
That has happened.
Who, for those who don't know, was a creative director of a big ad agency, J. Walter Thompson. I
My
think.
first
Number
interview.
one author for a million years.
Yeah.
too.
First-
Didn't you write one with Hillary recently, too? I think he did.
First interview. All right,
He'll-
well, tell me
he'll
about.
write with anyone.
Tell me about that. First, how
First
did you,
interview. Okay, so I don't know if either of you guys went to JWT for an interview, but it was this amazing, like, glass tower of an agency right near the Chrysler Building, and
Yeah, it was on like Lex or something.
Yeah, and it's just like me as a 20-year-old going in with a portfolio and riding up this glass elevator, and I thought, the whole thing was just like it's like Logan's Run. Remember the movie Logan's Run? And so I was immediately thinking that this is big time shit. And Bill and Patterson was just he was fine, but he was already like halfway out the door because he was starting to write. He like asked me 2 questions and then he showed me his books.
Oh, great.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of his, he's probably like the number
Narcissistic
one.
downfall.
Yeah, he's probably the number one author in terms of books published in
He
America.
was for a
I would
million
think.
years. Yeah.
And he writes kind of detective, mystery,
Yeah.
spy
Thriller
kind of
of
thriller
thing.
stuff.
Along
Like-
came a spider. Don't
Right,
they always
really
have,
that, yeah.
they,
Something like that.
They refer to nursery rhymes a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And has anybody read any of his stuff?
No.
Did you get a job
Oh, you
offer
love
there?
trash.
I did, but Maxine Petro,
Anything
who
dirty,
was
you're dusty.
these two,
Yeah,
herding cats.
that's fine. I told you.
Herding cats.
Anything rotten or raggedy,
I liked the idea of the training program, and that's where we all met.
Was this training program that Maxine created? All right, well, now I got to ask everybody. Casey, how did you end up at the Dancer Fitzgerald Sample creative training program?
I moved up to New York already and lived in the Jewish Y and worked at Orvis where I stole a mannequin hand, stuffed down my tights, and it started to slide out under my long skirt as I was walking out the door. I'm like, "Bah." And
This
yeah.
is all the same day.
Yeah. So I was already up in New York, and I did you just do a little test, and then you get an interview.
And that's it?
Yeah. I remember meeting
You were
Stink first day.
Yeah.
He had a knitted tie with a blunt end.
Oh.
And it
It
was
was all our
lavender.
age.
It was lavender.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved
It was-
those. Loved those
Hey,
things.
hey, straight from Chess King.
Those were
Yep.
chess king. Amazing. All right, Claire, how did you end up there?
Well, Maxine Petro came to the University of Texas.
Boy, I
when
hope
was
she's
in
listening.
School, and
This
I
drink is
was
awesome.
offered a job, and I turned it down because I thought I wanted to go to California and bum around with a friend out there. And after I turned it down, I know. And after I turned it down, someone said, "You're crazy. You should really do that." So I called her back, and so then I went up. I went up without interviewing with anybody there, and showed up in August. It was really hot. The whole city smelled like urine. It was awful.
You were sold. You were sold.
I was sold.
That's called August.
And I was later than all of you guys, so the trainee program thing had been underway for a while. And what I remember about the sessions that we had to go to every morning was it was just people like old timers wanting to tell their war stories, and it was ridiculous. Pat Peduto specifically.
Oh my
remember.
God! And if you think about
another loyal listener of this program,
Hi Pat.
is Paige St. John.
Really, I thought about this because Mad Men was such a blast to watch.
Yeah.
But if you think about the ad agency environment of that time, we were closer. What we walked into was closer to that environment than what's going on today by far.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm talking about across the board.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking about, freaking, white privilege and male. Like, it was all it was a boys' club.
Oh,
it was like,
sure.
and booze and drugs and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I started at an agency in 1982, and there was this guy, some senior VP, and everybody told the story about him in some client meeting. He was drunk, and he's walking around the room. He pulled out his dick and he put it in some client's head in the middle of a meeting.
That was me.
Yeah, was it you?
Sorry.
Yeah, and
Name names.
no, and so when I started
agents?
watching Ted Bates.
Oh.
So when I started watching Mad Men and all this sort of crazy stuff, I remembered that same thought that you just said. It was like that stuff was just a few years before we came into that business.
I'm just wondering.
You were partnered for a long time with Nick DiMaria,
I
who was a legend.
Nico.
Raised by wolves.
A legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Let's drink
once
to him right
was
now.
Here, I'll
walking
drink to Nico.
Okay,
We don't have enough.
I'll tell you, one of the tamest stories that I can tell about Nico is that I admire this so much, is after we moved downtown, another agency moved to the same building upstairs, and he went and got a job there, and he was commuting on the elevator. He had 2 jobs. And he could always just say, I'm going to the studio, I'm going here, I'm going there. He held down 2 jobs for a really long time before
Holy
he got
crap.
caught. Yeah.
I have to say, the last thing I expected tonight was a litany of Nick DiMaria stories.
Well,
but
Yeah.
my favorite,
You got
my favorite was walking to work from the east side, East 15th Street, over to Houston, and I came upon Nick DiMaria outside the agency, a block from the agency, with a disposable razor, shaving in the rear view mirror or a side view mirror of a car.
Dry shaving.
Dry
his
shaving. Shaving, yes. No, dry shaving with a Bic. And he's like, "Oh, hey, is that meeting still happening?" I'm like, "Yeah, you got about 2 minutes. Keep shaving, bud." And that was just a classic portrait of Nick DiMaria.
Okay, one more then. After he was fired for having 2 jobs, which is the least of what he could have been fired for, as Norm would know. But maybe 6 months later, I was in L.A. for a shoot, crossing Sunset. Cars are all, it's like 8 lanes wide or whatever. I've got the light to cross. I'm going across, and this motorcycle comes up, and it's just not going to stop. It's just not going to stop. And I had to run out of its way, and the guy wiped out because he was just going so fast, and he didn't see me in the last minute. He wiped out just all over. I mean, it was a train wreck there, but the guy, I thought he must have been dead, but he got up, pulled off his helmet, and said, "Hey, Claire." Can I tell you who it was?
Maxine Petro. God, Nick. All right.
I'm glad he came up.
Glad he came up. So for people at home who don't know this, the way the creative departments worked back in the day, probably still in advertising, is there's 2 people who are a creative team. One person is in charge of the words, mostly. That's the copywriter. And the other person is in charge of the visuals, mostly. And that's the art director. So we worked as a team. I worked with Nico. I worked with Stinky, my first ever partner. Maxine Petra took me down in the Chrysler Building to your office. And she said, "Norm, this is Stinky Miller." And I'm like, "Okay, please." That's how she introduced you.
Holy crap.
His name's Steve for everybody at home, but that's how she introduced you because everybody called you that back then. Can you mind sharing the story? How come you were called that back then?
Well, the worst part is that now we've infected another region of the world with my nickname.
Yeah.
And these
Ryan
Karen
Cliff.
Clacy are looking at me like, "What? That's your name."
UK.
So it's really it's not even worth describing, but it was just, I don't remember the details, but I was in my office with Jane King. Hello, Jane.
Hello,
Jane.
Jeff.
Jane and Jeff, we miss you. You should be here. But anyway, there was something, I don't know, there's something on the desk from some photographer's
was in the Black Book.
promotion in the Black Book, the Creative
Book.
Black Book, and it just said something like, for Stinky Miller, blah, 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 whatever. So he was going, I guess his name must have been Miller, and it stuck. And Jane said, "That's you,
Stinky Miller, that's you."
Yeah, so there
and
you
prior to that, you were just plain old
That's just
Steve
plain
Miller.
old Steve Miller, which I guess if you gotta like kind of
Abracadabra.
jazz that name up, I suppose why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, it has
dumb-
nothing to do with any bodily
Malodorous.
issues or malodorous
think.
Yeah.
kind of textures.
Oh, wait.
As
you
it-
got another cherry? I didn't get any cherries. Wow, Casey. shooting me a look.
For
The
those
evils. I
for those
gave
at
the
home,
evils.
Casey's trying
that
to
took ages.
stab
Yeah, for-
maraschino cherries with a coffee stir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have come with a pickle fork or something.
So over the years, this is something we just said we're going to discuss. There have been lots of really good Halloween costumes.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out of this trio.
Well, Norm used to host a Halloween party for several years.
I did 14 years in a row.
Wow. It's a good party.
Starting in '82.
Right.
But
I think Casey and I would say, when I was brand new, really bonded over that first Halloween because we made our costumes together.
We spent so long on.
Oh, a lot more time than we did it working.
what were the costumes?
We were sushi rolls.
Yeah, and we appropriated. We looked like geishas on the head with wasabi hats,
Wow.
and
All beautifully
I
made with
totally remember
stuff
those.
we
I think I remember
ordered
that
from
too.
the studio.
I think that was 1986.
packing peanuts were the rice.
Right.
And the reason I say I think that was 1986 because I'm pretty sure that's when the Mets won the World Series.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Stinky came to my house, which I bought it this way, had like wall-to-wall industrial carpet.
Yeah.
And Stinky came as the ticker tape parade.
Which was a great costume.
A fine costume because there had been a ticker tape parade for the world champion Mets. The problem was
Hoovering.
glitter, hoovering. I love that.
Ticker tape.
Hoovering. Glitter never comes out.
confetti, glitter.
Yeah, it was just a mess.
Yeah.
So Stinky and I got transferred. We were friendly, and we got transferred in 1989 to the London office of Saatchi and Saatchi, and Casey was already there, which is why she says hoovering, because the translation for Americans, which Casey does, isn't. Thank you, Casey. So how long have you been there, and how is it?
88.
88? Right, the year before we went. I could have done that math myself. And where are you now? You're in the New Forest? What is that?
It's so pretty. So it's down by the south coast of England, and it's a national park that is enclosed by cattle grids, and in it there's wild horses, donkeys, and cows just wandering the streets. Pretty. Chocolate box.
Chocolate box?
Chocolate box.
Well, it's like a picture on the beginning. It's postcard cute.
You know,
Postcard
my
Chocolate box,
of-
another English phrase, I guess.
Sorry.
Oh, it's chocolate box cute. Well, how come you don't have a little English accent?
I don't. No, I don't.
Yes, you do. Big time.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite part of my favorite accent on that last story was donkeys.
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 All right, back to the Halloween costumes. Other standouts?
Okay, one year, Noble and I dropped acid and went over to the East Village, and we ran into Lorenzo from the bullpen.
Oh,
you guys
I love
remember?
Lorenzo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
He was great.
he was a man in a windstorm, and it was so good. He had the upturned umbrella, the broken umbrella. His hair was gelled back. He had wired his tie and his whole suit off to the right, so that he was just a man in a windstorm. It was so good, especially on acid.
Especially on acid. Now, speaking of acid, when I got there, you to the ad agency, you guys, two of you were already there, and Kobe O'Brien was there.
Yeah.
And I heard the story, just like my previous agency about the guy putting his dick on somebody's head. Heard the famous story about you and Kobe, I think, going to a company Christmas party
At 4D.
on
Didn't we all?
on acid,
I thought we were all there.
I was not.
which
That's
was
because
just,
you're on acid.
yeah, which I just thought that is so hardcore. Go to this corporate event with your bosses and everybody there just
No,
tripping.
it was
remember
this
that.
hologram club called 4D.
Uh-huh.
And it was stupid and dark, and you could get away with anything. It didn't matter. It was very weak drugs, too. So
Very weak. Bad,
I thought we
it was
all did it.
Wait, no,
acid.
that was in Spain.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to think. What was it? I'm trying to remember one of your other. You did so many great costumes. We've all done amazing.
I'm thinking about
costumes.
other people that I remember from some of those parties. You know, remember Ian, the editor? He always did good stuff.
Yeah.
I remember him and his girlfriend coming as lesbians one year.
That's
It was
nice.
really well done.
I'm sure it wasn't political.
no, it
correct,
wasn't.
no.
It was wonderful, though.
They were kickstarting their vibrator.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So that would be two things that.
And then
could
one
not
year,
be published.
he came as Charles Manson, and he stayed in character all night and was just awful.
Wow.
But it was quite a commitment to.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Oh, shout out to Eugene.
Oh,
Eugene had a country shirt with big flames on it. And
Oh, yeah.
he tied a scorched Barbie with that haircut.
Oh yeah.
And twigs around his head, taped it. He was Joan of Arc burning at the stake. So the next year I went.
Funny.
The next year I went as Joan of Arkansas burning a steak. So I had a
I
Hoosiers
remember
baseball
that.
cap on, again that haircut, but missing teeth this time, and really white trash outfit. And I had a skillet with a minute steak in it. We were at Hogs and Heifers,
Yeah.
and all night long people were putting their cigarettes out in the skillet and eating the steak.
Ew.
Nobody cared.
Oh no.
And a
I'm
highlight
like,
of
don't.
a highlight of that evening was Sean Keener dressed as Jesus. I think.
No, Moses wore khakis.
dancing, dancing on the bar.
With Kevin.
I was dancing on the bar.
Yeah.
No, with Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
They did.
Oh, Kevin.
Somebody put The Devil
Kevin,
Went
the
Down to Georgetown.
350-pound super sweet bouncer.
But also he had those like prosthetic horns in his head.
Yeah.
So he was scary as
I remember
anything.
that guy.
And
Yeah.
somebody put on the jukebox The Devil Went Down to Georgetown. And they were just dancing, fighting. Huge, again, had an excellent line. He pointed to Sean and said, "He moves in mysterious ways."
Yeah. That's where I was going with this.
Sorry.
A classic line.
You said the devil went down to Georgetown. Is that an accent?
Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
The
devil went down to Georgia.
Loves the Ramblin' Wreck. So let me rephrase the question. What's the best costume you ever wore? Personally.
I have to think about that. Oh, well, a couple of years ago, 2016, I was a basket of deplorables, and
That was good. I remember that.
really good.
I
That's
like
nice. How do you execute a
So
basket?
that was, I'd gotten a basket big enough that I could cut leg holes in and step in it, and then I got a bunch of mannequin heads and, put MAGA hats on them and
Yeah,
all that
basket of
stuff.
warbles.
Yeah.
I like it.
that was good.
Casey, same question. All right, I'll share mine while
Okay.
you're thinking. Best Halloween costume you ever I think probably the favorite Halloween costume I ever did was Papa Smurf.
Oh, that was nice.
I had a beard. I painted it white. I painted my face blue. It's pretty simple. And,
Lives Matter.
and I love Blue Lives Matter. Yeah, that's where
good.
it came from. People don't know. They think it's about the cops. It's about
No,
the Smurfs.
No.
Yeah.
I did a 6-year tribute to Sammy Davis Jr.
I remember that.
And I did dance one of the nights
and,
on Hogs and Heifers
and sang.
and sang as Sammy.
Candyman.
Yeah.
I think I want to remind
Can
you
we do
of
it now? Can we do it now?
I want to remind you. Well,
Better not.
and really one of the highlights was the eyeball that was made with a half of a
That took a
ping pong
lot.
ball.
That was a lot
yeah.
of crafting.
But I want
Yeah.
to. I hope you remember this. Is that one year? It wasn't your first year, but your suit would get ruined every year. So we went out. It was the Halloween day, and we had to get you a suit for your Sammy
A
costume.
polyester leisure suit.
Right,
Yeah.
and so we
mustard one? It was mustard.
were going to the thrift stores in the village, and we found that was the mustard colored one, but. You opened it up, and the label, it was a Sammy Davis Jr. suit.
This
it was
is
like
true. And
his line
yeah.
of suits that he was
It was
endorsing.
actually-
it was
and
Sammy moves in
shivers.
mysterious
I
ways.
just
And
shivered.
Sammy moved in very mysterious
Yeah.
ways that day, and I have to, we still have that. So I'm
Awesome.
gonna have to check the little costume trunk in our basement.
Before you wreck yourself.
You,
Yes.
Interesting. Now,
But you can't do that again.
No, I was going to say you couldn't. You can't do that
Can't.
now.
No.
You
But
know,
it was an homage.
It was an homage, and it's
In the 80s and 90s,
undoubtedly.
people did stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, for most people we knew, I guess, nobody thought about it.
Right. We didn't
No.
think about it.
And now you would never do that.
No, of course not.
I would.
Casey would.
Not too. So my husband died about 10
No,
years
you
ago.
wouldn't. You wouldn't.
No, not like 2 years ago. I went to a party as a black widow.
I see.
Oh, my.
Because your husband
High
had just
concept.
passed away.
And for those,
It was all right until I took out Grandma by tripping on the couch. And
For the two-
wiping black down her.
Took out
taffeta.
Grandma.
I took out Grandma. I fell on Grandma.
Yeah.
I would like to apologize for the 2 remaining listeners
Yeah.
for Casey.
So you're going to choose that as your best costume ever, Black
Oh,
Widow?
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Joan of Arkansas burning.
Joan of Arkansas.
good.
Yeah, that's
Pretty,
good.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
Carrie and I did a couple years ago. We did Snow White Trash and Prince Charmless.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, that was
White
nice.
trash.
I have to say, there's one last thing that deserves a special shout out, and it is not anyone here, but our friend Charlie O'May. God knows he's not listening. He created one of the best things I'd ever seen on Halloween, and he was one of those little toy army men.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was all in green, and he like everything. It was an amazing execution of this concept, and he also carried around with him a base. So he would put the base down, and he had a bazooka that he made, and he got down on one knee on the base. So 1 foot on the base, 1 knee on the base with a bazooka, and it was like, oh my god, that was the best thing ever.
You know, Carrie and I were bowling trophies one year.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot
Oh,
of
it's a lot of
commitment
work.
to be sushi or a bowling trophy or Sammy Davis Jr.
Sure.
And do you all still get dressed up? You're going to get dressed up.
I'll be a I don't know, ghoul. Something that all I have to do is do white face, basically. Dead face. Dead man
Dead
face.
face.
Why don't you be a vax denier with dead face?
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
that's
going to be.
That's funny.
That's it. Thank you.
Good looking forward to that. Now, you're on South Street.
Yep.
Is mine. How many pieces of candy will you have to give away?
I think Sal bought, that's Sarah, my wife. I think she bought about 3 bags of, not, I guess, fun size, which are no fun.
You get that kind of action up here?
Ooh, lots of action.
First year I was there in
Major.
South Street, I asked the neighbors across the street, I said, well, how many pieces of candy should I get? They said 650. I'm like, oh, okay. And they,
Can
and
I
they
ask you to
said-
be more specific?
Yeah, then they said, we give out full-size Hershey bars.
Ooh.
It's like, ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think they still do that.
No.
But the numbers that first year, sure, it was at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
a lot.
sort of dwindled down
Yeah.
over the years that I've
So
been
the
there.
razor blades and the apples?
Yeah.
Because
That
of
was
the growing
main-
mistrust and
That's the general mistrust.
paranoia.
I think it's,
Do you really think that's it?
no, well,
Yeah.
COVID.
Duh.
And then,
And childhood obesity.
well,
that too.
there's that. Oh my God.
No.
Peanut allergies?
That's never slowed
Anyone?
anybody
Peanut
down.
allergies?
Peanut allergies.
Peanut allergies. Well, once again, I'm giving out paydays,
Yeah.
Not real.
Snickers, and little bags of Planters.
He's a peanut allergy denier.
You're a peanut allergy denier. I think that's against the rules of the station. To
I'll just keep my mouth shut
have
about it.
that. Yeah, I would really appreciate that.
We're just wondering why there are no pistachio allergies.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
What
all.
about
That's all.
macadamia
Throw it out there. That's
allergies,
right.
huh? You never hear about that.
Filbert allergies.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yep.
Not out there. Brazil nuts.
Oh.
Oh, you Filberts. You never heard of Filberts?
No.
Oh. Well, look.
Nobody likes the filberts. They are the first thing picked out of the deluxe mixed nuts can.
That's only because I get there first and eat them all.
There you
I
go.
love
They're
the Filberts.
filler. That's why they call them
They
filberts.
should call them filler instead of filbert. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, so what's next for you people? You. You still work in advertising a little bit, Claire, right?
Once in a
Occasional
while, I get a
art
freelance gig.
director
Yeah.
gig.
Try not to.
Casey, you don't do any.
I
that
flip
stuff.
houses.
Yeah. Are they mostly in the New Forest? I know you got a place in London.
Always.
as well.
Southampton mainly.
Except what?
Southampton mainly. The city that spawned Titanic.
Oh, Spawn.
That's what it's famous for.
Or any villages.
Nothing else.
Or any villages that have donkeys.
Okay.
Donkeys.
Don Quixote.
And Stinky, you're still working in advertising.
Yeah,
What do you do?
Costume. Wait, Don Quixote.
I know the answer, but
Don Quixote. That's
two-
what we're going as.
Don Quixote.
Don Quixote.
All right.
Oh my god! So that's only one whiskey sour. So you can,
Yeah.
as you can see,
Yeah. Thanks for only bringing one.
they were
One
quite
each.
strong.
Yeah.
very, very strong. But I'm ready to pour some more.
Is there more?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh no, there isn't.
Psych.
They're really strong.
So
Yeah, I kind of thought one mason jar for like 6 people.
It seemed a little thin to
But there's
me.
only 5.
Yeah.
Well, I tend to exaggerate.
So Stinky, what do you do? We got two listeners left. They don't know what.
I
He still
direct
has a
commercials,
job. Yeah,
so I kind of jumped to the other side of the camera in a way, and we all were in meetings and writing and doing all our concepts and stuff like that. And it was for me, it was the most fun when I was on set. So made the jump over to direction.
So we were all sitting around thinking up the ideas for the
Yeah.
commercials, and now you're a director. So you get an idea.
Yep.
And what happens? What do you do to it?
You basically
Make
get on the
it good.
phone with the agency and tell them what you do with it, give them your kind of vision, and then hopefully you get hired and you make a little movie.
Interesting. Little 30-second.
Yeah, a little 30-second movie.
It's nice.
Yeah.
And you were always doing pretty well at that. And then you got this thing for this beer thing. How did
Dos
that happen?
Equis, most interesting man in the world, and that was a lot of fun. And that was 10 years, so that was really, that kind of
Wow.
sustained me. You know what I mean? Like, that was the only thing. Like,
That bought your house in Rhinebeck.
that was the Casa de Dos. But they, for that 10 years, it was like I was engaged because it was fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it sort of kept things going.
With
And
the
now,
right shaving, couldn't Norm be that guy for
I think,
Halloween?
well,
close.
yeah,
For Halloween?
a
Yeah.
little bit of,
With the right facial topiary.
yeah.
Stink-
Norm's
Yeah.
looking a bit like it right now. Yeah.
I know, Stinky, you've had celebrities in your commercials.
Yeah, a lot.
And there's one I'm thinking of. Someone
I'm thinking of one also. I wonder
Yeah.
if it's the same person.
really famous, somebody
Oh, boy,
very,
here we
very,
go.
very, very
Oh, see,
Yeah,
I was thinking.
Donald-
a leader.
I was
a
thinking
leader.
of somebody really
That
tan.
guy. Yeah.
Really, really tan.
Well,
Yeah.
Orange.
If only I
no,
had them both.
tan.
George
Go on.
Hamilton.
Yeah, I had
Oh,
him.
you
he
did?
was one.
No, I went the Donald
Yeah,
Trump
the Donald
story. I don't
Trump,
know
the
this.
Donald Trump
All right, let's do
character.
the Trump story, and then the George Hamilton story.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, okay, so I'll tell you quickly what happened with Donald Trump. It was weirdly, this was the third time I had worked with him. I have no idea why.
Oh, I only know 2 stories.
You know, life moves in weird directions, but there we were at his house, his apartment in Trump Tower, and at some point he had agreed, his people had agreed that we could shoot his entrance of his apartment, and
Foyer?
that,
Oh,
and that
I think
only.
you meant his bumhole.
Oh boy! And then, so he
It
That entrance is
should be an exit,
off
but
limits.
it's an entrance.
Everybody except
I've seen the
But I'll
picture.
try to make this really quick because it's going to get annoying. But
no.
but
We
he-
have plenty of time.
Oh, do we? Oh no.
No.
So we needed a shot, and the lighting had to be such that he had to be kind of like, well, 3/4 backlit partly because of his hair, and or whatever it is.
Did you touch it?
No, but we all looked at it. We all were standing over him and looking down. Nobody could figure it out at all. So anyway, he said, "All right, well, he can come in to get the light inside." So I was like, "Oh boy!" So he pointed to me, said he can come in. So I was sitting there alone
You could go in
on
his
this.
entrance.
Well, yeah, it was alone in this. You can imagine the environment. You know, it was just like god awful, and
A lot of
just-
gold?
A lot of gold, everything gold. And I was sitting in this little settee by the entrance, and suddenly
Settee.
settee. Well, that's a small sofa, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I think.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Davenport.
Yeah, Davenport.
Sounds
And
fancy.
I thought that was a
Davenport.
So I'm alone. I'm sitting
Town
there
near
alone,
Moline.
going, "This is the strangest moment of my life." Nobody was there.
But he was
And
a
then-
businessman at that time. And
Yeah, he was.
And a TV star?
He was a
or
TV
just
It was before he did The Apprentice.
okay.
Oh.
So at some point, he comes over and he sits down next to me
Wow.
on this little sofa.
With his
alone.
son on your knee.
Well, it was almost. It was like
What
really
did he smell
incredibly
like?
weird.
What did
incredibly
he
weird.
smell like?
Did you smell his
Money.
hair?
He smelled like money. He said to me, He had something rolled up. He had a magazine rolled up in his hand, and he said to me, "What do you think of this?" And he unfurled a magazine, and it was called Cigar Aficionado.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it was
that's
Melania
I was
draped
hoping it was,
over his
I was
lap.
hoping it was going to be Jugs
And Melania
With
was
Melania
draped
on
over
it.
his lap with a cigar.
with Melania on it. Yeah.
And
With
he
Bill
said,
Clinton.
yeah, and he said, what do you think of that? And I'm like, what do you mean? Are you asking me?
Wait,
you want me to
I
say,
wanna-
wow,
you
you
should've said-
banging that?
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I have that to wank later?
Well, that's. I mean, seriously.
He would have been happy with
But then
that.
that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to show me him and her on the cover of a magazine, and then he walked away. And
Well,
What do you,
Cut
what do you
to
think of that?
nothing-
2020.
There's nothing homoerotic or
Oh,
phallic
it's
about cigar
It's
aficionado.
just yeah, but cut to the interview of Stormy Daniels, and she talks about how he had he showed her a magazine,
Oh, wow.
and her response was, somebody ought to spank you with that magazine, and
You should
and-
have said that.
I should have said that.
Oh, what a missed opportunity.
But it was so weird because I was watching that interview with Sarah, and I turned to Sarah and it's like, holy crap, she's telling the truth. This happened because I got stormied.
You got stormied on
But
the,
you
on the
didn't have
settee.
the right answer.
I did not have the right answer.
I'm making you a T-shirt. I got stormy.
But that was
stormied.
it. He was like, he sat down next to me, did that, and then he walked away. It was the craziest freaking moment of my life, by far.
And was that the final time that you worked with the Donald?
Yeah.
The Donald. Oh my God.
Yep.
Oof. That fucking
Okay,
guy.
what about George Hamilton? Let's hear that.
Yeah.
George Hamilton's
Thank you,
awesome.
Blair.
He was the greatest. I think he's my favorite person I ever worked
Really?
with in terms of a celebrity because he was
fun.
C-list, C-list celebrity. They're the best when they kind of like take it on and use that to their comedic kind of shticky advantage, and he got it. He just got it. He was like, yeah, I'm a joke. Let's work with me as a joke, and it was Mr. T, Lonnie Anderson, George Hamilton, and Mary Lou Retton. And this was for
Wow.
The
Lipton
Wheaties
Sizzle
reunion.
and Stir. It was
Sizzle
it
and
was
Stir.
it was one of those things you put in hamburger to make like your dinner.
Sure.
So the whole idea was,
Those are the four people I think of.
right. Well, that's what the idea was. The idea
Little
was
Mary Lou Retton.
when you cook together, your family.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
and
That's actually
really
good.
what it came down to was that show, that ad concept, and the other one was Little Richard, not Pat Sajak. Who's that? Kurt Woolery.
How much?
Kurt Woolery.
Oh,
and
Chuck
Chuck
Woolery.
Chuck Woolery, sorry. And what's the name? Sally Jesse Raphael. They were cooking in the kitchen.
you lucky
and
man.
Mr. Miyagi. I forget his name.
Yeah, Pat, whatever.
Pat. So there was a reality television based on this concept. It was big. What's it called?
I love the concept. When you cook together, your family.
I know, it was a good idea. It was a really good idea. But little did I know that you could actually tell Casey just knocked on the wall from the bathroom.
From the bathroom. From the bathroom.
Little did I know that you could, there's no intellectual ownership of any kind of concept, any kind of properties in advertising. Anybody can take that and just say, I'm going to make a show about that. So that's what the reality TV show with
Stole it.
Brigitte Nelson, and it was like, who was the guy who wore a clock around
Oh,
the
yeah,
rapper?
yeah.
And there were a
His
couple.
name, but I know who you're talking
But it's
about.
something like Big House or I don't
Yeah.
know, some weird like family thing.
Nice.
But anyway, why am I feel like I've just been talking way too much.
Sorry, ask you all these questions.
Well, I don't run into those kind of people. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird world. I mean, it's a fun job, but it's like, you find yourself in these moments, and I'll never forget seeing. I had Mr. T walk into the kitchen and look over Lonnie Anderson's shoulder, smelling the sizzle and stir, and I was like, I said, he's got to go in there and he's got to kiss her on the cheek and just say, something smells good. And it was like that happened. You say, here's how this is going to play out. And that was, I remember, one of the highlights of my career. Because it's just like, I just made Mr. T kiss Lonnie Anderson, and then and walk out of that kitchen after stirring that thing.
Love that. I want to see that. I'm sure that's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, Lipton Sizzle and Stir.
Yeah. Is it on your? You have a reel of
Yeah.
stuff that you've done. Is
Yeah,
that on your?
no,
reel? No.
because it's from a long time ago. You only keep current stuff. So
Yeah. I don't have any current stuff. I guess that's why I don't have a reel.
you got this.
Yeah, well, sure. This will be a podcast. If you want to listen to any past episodes, you can go to radiofreerhinecliff.org and listen to all of them.
I will.
For all of the different programs. Oh, here comes Casey back from the bathroom. Did you wash your hands?
How about some candy corn? Here you
Yeah.
go. Pass them around.
Should I touch them all?
Yeah,
Put your
touch them all.
fingers in and fish out one of those.
Yeah, give me another cherry, would you?
I'm washed.
Oh, that
I
whiskey
just,
sour is
I
good.
just got a text from Jennifer here who says Flava Flav.
Oh,
yeah,
Flavor
yeah,
Flav.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
He was the guy with the big clock.
Yep.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah. I know. I love that. So, so if you have my number and have any questions for this trio, feel free to text away. I'm thinking especially of Amy, who said she was
Amy Drickle,
Amy Drickle
my sister-in-law,
of the Statsburg Drickles.
sister of Sarah.
Casey, what is it,
The
darling?
Downs.
You're pointing at me.
I know you,
do you want
Huge and Jenny are listening.
candy corns?
You can Facebook Norm too.
Yeah, Facebook Messenger me.
I got
Yeah.
a question. Is Amy the one that dyed her hair purple before the wedding and had to quickly undo? Didn't one of the sisters?
Oh no, that would be Susan. I think that would be up Susan's
Yes.
lane. My wife has come from a beautiful background of having 6 sisters. So, the Downs girls have lots of stories about the Downs girls.
Yes, I'm sure.
That's another story, another radio show.
Well, we still have plenty of time. I almost had a piece of candy corn, then I remember I fucking hate candy corn.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
bad.
oh, really? I love it.
All right, what's worse, candy corn or circus peanuts?
The
Oh,
Eagles.
Casey says the Eagles.
Standing on the corner
So-
in Winslow, Arizona.
Not to get
Such
too
a fine sight to see.
It's also a
The
different one.
Eagles.
not to get too macro, but this
Yeah,
I
macro.
I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense. But I bought some Brock's candy corn the other day because I wanted to see if it still tasted the same.
Brock's.
It doesn't. I thought Brock's would be the gold standard. Not so much.
No, so it didn't taste the
It didn't
same
taste the
as
way I
you
remembered
it.
And then I got a generic brand from our beautiful CVS. And
CVS
Better.
brand?
It was better.
CVS brand. No, it was like some kind of
Archer
generic,
Hills
let's
or
call it
something.
Archer. Yeah,
Well, I
Archer
think
Hill.
that's the...
Well,
And that was
one
better.
of them has the nice brand, nice with an exclamation point, like maybe I think it's CVS.
Who?
Nice.
Nice. Oh yeah, you're
I
right.
got the
Yeah, yeah.
CVS generic UTI medicine.
Okay.
And I thought it's better. I thought it
Was
tasted
it
better.
nice?
How's
Exclamation
that,
point.
how's that working for you?
You're not supposed to make it into a tea, Casey. It's a whole different thing.
Oh, look, Jenny O'Connell texts, we are listening.
Jenny.
Tell Casey to shut up. All right, I might have made up that last part. Also, we got the word that same from Jen. Surreal Life was the flavor.
Thank
yeah.
you, folks.
Thing,
Oh,
yeah.
that was a good show.
It was pretty good.
No,
Yeah, no, it was good.
I mean,
it was pretty
you know,
good.
it was bad good.
Yeah, bad good.
bad.
Yeah.
I see bad good.
Yeah.
And
Oh, let's talk about bad good.
Okay.
bad girls or
No,
bad,
bad good.
bad
Tell me
good.
some bad good stuff to watch.
Oh, I'll tell you bad
like
good
Monkey
stuff.
Shines.
Oh, that was a great movie.
That was the best
We had a
bad
good time
movie.
anyway.
Good. When what was Monkey
Roadhouse.
Shines?
Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. That's the best bad good there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bad good.
More bad good?
I was gonna go with like advertising stuff. Yeah, sorry, because I don't really watch much TV. I watch what the kids want to watch, and now the kids are gone, so I watch nothing.
What do the
know.
kids want to watch?
Get a life, Norm.
I
TV's
know.
your
We
best
start
friend.
watching some damn TV. Too lazy to watch TV. Mossy loved to watch this thing called The Mentalist,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was pretty
I had
fun.
a crush on him too.
That
Mossy's gay?
Not yet, but the day is young.
Simon something or other.
And by the way, his birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday,
Happy
Moss.
birthday, Moss.
Mossy.
18.
Just kidding about
What?
your sexual orientation. I don't know a thing.
Yeah. Where was I? It totally threw me
Bad
off.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, bad good. Oh, it looks that advertising thing looks like a pump, feels like a sneaker. It was an actual basketball game played in easy
That was good.
dress
Yeah,
shoes,
that
was
and it was
good.
so
geniusly bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was so bad, and sales went through the roof.
Yeah, of course.
Because people were like, "Oh, they're playing basketball." I mean, it was so cheesy, but it was so good.
But
at the same time.
but
I
because
live in
people
a
under
region, so I get a lot of regional.
oh, that's the best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some good
That's the best.
cardular. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
A region.
Well, you know,
Regional.
Small market,
smaller market, let's say.
local market. Yeah.
Local market.
Yeah. But I have to say, looks like a pump, feels like a sneaker, tells you exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
It was a good,
Yeah.
good strategy.
It's a fine line, the execution.
But the idea,
super bad good.
the idea, how it got from there to women playing basketball in them is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And sometimes things go south.
Yeah.
I don't know. I bet they made a fortune and they
did.
spend a lot of money.
And back
Let's
in the.
talk about My Pillow.
Oh boy!
What do you know about My Pillow?
Oh, the only thing I can tell you about My
good.
Pillow is
Matt's cringing here.
Mary Alice, a friend of ours, her boyfriend Bob, they live in Minnesota. And she told me the other day there may or may not have been an incident where Bob was asked to leave a My Pillow store in the Mall of America.
Oh yeah.
What did he do?
And started yelling about the My Pillow guy, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know.
Who's Mike? Somebody?
That's
Liddell,
Mary
yeah.
Alice's.
No, the My Pillow guy.
Yeah.
Was it Hunt? What's his last name?
Mike Hunt?
Mike,
Yeah.
I believe it's
Mike
Hunt.
Hunt, I believe.
Michael's last name is Hunt.
What's his name again, Casey?
Okay, that's enough.
Oh, come on.
Ben.
I think you just got a call from Mike.
Ben Dover.
Hunt.
No, it's a call from Mr. Mr. Ben Dover.
Okay. Norm, what else is on your list of questions? Let's.
Oh,
yeah.
you-
Come on.
Give us
Mr.
something
Over. Norm, you got that wrong. Mr.
what?
Dover.
Mr.
Ben,
Dover,
not
Mr.
Mr.
Ben.
Over.
Well, it's a strong
D is
drink.
his middle initial.
That's it. There's nothing else. Nobody
That's
else
it?
is. Nobody else is weighing in on anything.
Wow.
Sandy Bartlett, our fabulous librarian,
Sandy.
in Rhinecliff at the Memorial Library, says "Ha!" exclamation point. So the text-in thing has been it's a mixed bag. This is the first time we've ever done this, by the way.
I like it.
Oh.
I like it. I think it's good. I'm feeling that
I didn't
tenuous
hear you
connection
give
to the
out your
community.
number, Norm.
Yeah, that's
that?
right.
It's +1
We have-
913.
We have a studio phone number.
Oh. Can they
Yeah,
text
can
to
we?
that, though?
I don't know. Can we text to that or receive phone calls?
You can receive a phone call and listen to it and tell them what they're saying.
Okay. So
But we're out of whiskey sours.
yeah, bring
So
help. Bring
don't
whiskey
go,
sours.
Don't go calling.
We've got-
Things are going
we got
downhill.
10 minutes left.
have,
We're going to try this for the first time ever. The studio phone number 845-307-RHIN. 845-307-RHIN.
It'll be Amy Drickle because she always wins things whenever there's the dial-in numbers.
Well, the 100th caller is going to win a really wonderful prize.
We'll be
Candy corn.
Candy corn and circus peanuts.
Yeah.
Okay, now we just wait. I think
We
that's
just wait.
the end of the conversation.
Now we just wait.
Wait. Is there waiting music?
Fly
we have-
me to the moon and
Can we
let
talk
me
about-
live among the stars.
Can I-
Let me know what life
Can I bring
is
up when
like
we-
on
the parakeet-
Jupiter. Oh,
atrium?
they were finches.
Claire.
No, they were finches. This is the
Claire.
This is the best thing that Claire and I ever did.
I think you were in on it too.
I was there.
Yep.
You were there.
I was there.
I was there at the
didn't do it.
fucking Woolworths on like 23rd Street or
Right.
something,
I don't
which, had
know
a,
what-
which had a bird section in the
Right.
back,
We were-
unbeknownst to me, but Claire, of course, knew.
Yes.
Like, oh, they've got
So we had
finches
moved
in the back of the
downtown to this
Woolworths.
fancy building. We were like the first ad agency downtown, and it had a huge atrium, giant atrium with Joseph Stella paintings. It was very fancy, all marble. We decided to go to
was Frank-
Woolworths and
Frank
get a
Stella.
Wait a
bird
minute.
and let
The
it go.
Cool in the Gang
Frank
was
Stella,
playing
but-
in the atrium for
But-
the Christmas party.
Really?
Cool in the Gang.
yeah, Cool in the
don't
Gang.
remember that.
That was it. It was Cool in the Gang, and
But
What happened that
well,
day?
Well, what
that
inspired
Bird
us,
Day?
if you remember,
Yes.
were
Oh,
the
I don't.
giant poinsettia trees that
that's
were
right.
created,
That's
and
right.
it was the first time I remember ever seeing that construction of it's just a pyramid of
right.
plants, which you've seen a million times
Christmas
since.
tree made out of poinsettia.
Correct. So we were at some Woolworth or whatever, and for some reason we decided let's buy as many finches. They were goldfinches,
My
I
memory
think.
is very different of this.
And we brought them back, and we very carefully released. It was a catch and release
Be
operation.
free, finch.
Yeah, we
And
set
I
them free.
remember going back upstairs to work and hearing through the afternoon a little bit of talk around the agency of like, oh, there's a bird loose downstairs, and word got around, but eventually it ended up in the magazine store, which was
And I remember-
most
Right.
like a Woolworths, right?
Yeah, and I remember looking
like that.
specifically. I remember being in the magazine kiosk, if you were, or whatever you want to call it, and I looked up, and there was a finch looking at a Men's Health magazine. I remember saying, "It's like, oh my God, there's a bird," like playing dumb. And the woman in the magazine store said, "Yeah, they came in on the poinsettia plants."
Oh, nice. I forgot that part of the story.
I forgot that too. That's great.
So I'm glad that it was able, somebody was able to put it into some weird context. And I just wanted to tell her, no, that's not what happened. But why not? Why not let that be the real version?
See, my memory was one parakeet, but you guys...
No, it was like six. I think it was
6 inches?
six
okay,
inches.
See? Time passes.
I remembered like 2 or 3.
Did I
Wow.
make
I'm
it cool in the
sticking with
gang?
6.
I swear that was
I
weird.
do not remember
Oh,
that.
We had Cool in the Gang in the
I
atrium.
remember somewhere, but I think that was at the old building.
No. It was definitely in the atrium of the new building.
This can't be interesting.
No, I was just thinking, reminiscing about pranks. 40,
But you
40 years
were
ago.
on acid, so
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
The
No, that was
entire.
But it wasn't
in-
That
very
was the
good
old building.
acid. It was bad acid, remember?
We got
Very
it from a
weak.
man
The
named Bunny that
brown
we can
acid.
never get. We can never get any more again, because he walked off the roof of a building.
oh no.
That's
Who?
true.
Who?
Bunny, who we used to get that acid from.
Oh, Bunny,
We
your
only got
drug
it
dealer.
from him
Well-
once. Oh, we only got it.
It couldn't have been that bad.
because we tried again, and
And his name was Bunny.
yeah.
That's unfortunate. Well, a moment of silence for Bunny.
Yeah.
Walking off the roof of the building, which was one of those things. I remember as a kid hearing like Art Linkletter's
Exactly.
son,
Daughter
or something, was taking acid and thought there was a spider in her arm and like dug it out with a spoon.
Oh, I thought she went out a window. See, these are these Go Ask Alice stories.
It's true.
Nick Cave's son did. Fall
That's
off a
true.
cliff.
That happened.
Can I interrupt for a second and ask if it would be appropriate for my Halloween costume to be Bunny walking off a roof of a building this year?
Be appropriate. Yeah.
I'm thinking about being
I think it's-
Art Linkletter's daughter halfway out a window.
I like that. That's good.
Well, it's dark humor.
It's very
for
dark.
Halloween.
It's super dark.
Kids do the darndest thing.
They do.
I was Sharon Tate one year
Were you?
with a babe, like a
Okay.
Before, after.
mid, because there was
Mid.
I had a big pregnant stomach and a knife in it, and then a doll baby.
So,
And that didn't spring to mind
Dark.
immediately when I asked about your best ever Halloween
funny.
costume.
Remember when
Wasn't
I was
I
a jet-
Jackie O?
Remember I was a jet
Jackie O
baby
with
one
red
year.
in an ear down
you were. Yeah, you
Yeah.
were.
I forgot about that.
Again, the dark humor is kind of appropriate for Halloween. I guess it's a
A little bit of
Holiday.
creativity can go.
It was
south
actually that wasn't even
so
Halloween. It was
fast.
a
Creativity goes south.
costume party. It was a dead celebrities costume party, and my husband went as Sonny Bono with a ski outfit and just branches all sticking out of his clothes.
Sonny. Oh, Sonny.
It's good.
This is sort of like the final episode of Seinfeld. Thus, where you're like, oh, they're all jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all-
well,
like
it can't be.
that-
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
No caller? No callers?
Wonder why.
no. Well, we had the 2 listeners, and then they left.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think that their internet went down or something.
Can we do that?
Sure, you
Sign
do,
off time?
do whatever you want. Yeah, I'll let you know when sign off time.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Throw one more thing at us.
One
You
more
got it.
one more thing at you.
I'll tell you something weird.
Yeah, good.
Norm and I have either lived in the same building or on the same street in 3 different places on the planet.
Who's stalking who?
We were, well,
Yeah.
I think we're taking.
What
I
are
think
you
we're
really
taking
trying
turns.
to tell us, Steve?
well, the training program thing. When we went over to London, we were in your old flat, but he had a
Carpets on the
flat
wall.
above. I had the flat, or the apartment below, and then Horatio Street in New York and South Street in Rhinebeck, New York. How about that?
Yeah, it's
Can't be
amazing.
interesting.
It
Not
can't
at
be
all
interesting.
interesting.
All right, well, here's it's not going to be interesting anymore. They got Eugene
Hey, you.
texting from Liverpool. I'm
Yes.
guessing. Says, question, did anybody hear what happened to Cliff Freeman, who was a creative director we all worked for?
Yeah, he just
I heard he died, but no details. Because it's
pneumonia.
Halloween, we want dark pneumonia.
Pneumonia. Yeah.
Was it COVID related?
Probably. So, I mean, you wonder because pneumonia, you would if you hadn't been vaccinated, you would probably die of pneumonia
Did you go to his
if you got it.
Do you
but
think
no,
he
I don't know.
was-
I don't know. That's pure conjecture on my part.
Right. Now, Cliff Freeman, when I started that agency, Dancer, he had just done Where's the Beef?
Yeah.
And Sometimes You Feel Like a Nut. And Dancer was the agency of the year largely because of Cliff and because of that
Yep.
Wendy's thing.
Yep.
And I worked for him for like 6 months. Seemed like a really nice guy. But you, Stinky, worked for him for like years and years and years.
Yeah.
Casey.
One of the weirdest things, when we were first inducted into Dancer Fitzgerald Ensemble, Where's the Beat was already big, but they gave us lectures by different people. One was Frank, the agency lawyer, and he showed us a Settlemyre test commercial, Where's All the Beef? Old ladies talking into a
Really?
thing. Yes. And it was just like, oh my God, completely lifted. And we're like, can you do that? He's like, apparently yes. Remember Frank, the agency lawyer?
But did you know?
He showed us the Settlemyre test commercial that was completely ripped off.
But didn't Cliff
think
get
Cliff did it.
Settlemyre to shoot
I think
the
he did.
Clara Peller version?
Yes.
But
Yes.
it might have been.
So, but it was the brief was for Fresh, which is nothing to do with what happened. But she showed the test commercial and then shot the test commercial.
Casey, he just died, for God's sake.
Never heard that story.
But I thought that was weird that Frank, we're new to this agency, all shiny and in love with
And
it,
this
and
lawyer's-
he does that.
Yeah,
Crushes you.
Frank.
I hesitate to bring up a Susan called joke.
Well, we're already down in the pits. Let's hear
Down
it.
in the pits.
I
We
don't
can't get
have
much
one.
worse.
I don't have one. I just know that was a thing with Cliff.
Yeah.
He was married to Susan, and she did call a lot.
Yeah, she was omnipresent,
Omnipresent.
and she was larger than life in every possible manner. But interesting little side note: probably the top international collector of Bakelite products.
Oh, really?
Back in her day,
And radios.
and radios,
Especially.
Speaking of radio,
Interesting.
Right.
I wonder how she's
Bakelite
doing.
radios.
it's one big full circle. We've come from
Probably
radio.
grieving widow.
Yeah.
Well, as old as we all are, think about those people that we thought of as, a little bit older than us. And
Yeah.
cool and
They were
successful.
35
they
at
were
that
youngsters.
point.
Right. They're really old now.
yeah.
They were super old.
Yeah.
All right, tell me a joke.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of is the one that you told me on the porch, and I'm not telling that.
That stays on the
Okay.
veranda.
Yeah.
Norm, go ahead.
Casey, I'm not.
Norm,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
telling that joke. No way. The filthiest joke, I'll just give a little background. The filthiest joke I ever heard came to me through this one here, Casey. Casey Grady. Yeah.
Is it the hillbilly mom?
Turn off.
Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
filthiest joke
Turn
I
it
know,
Old
too.
hilly, yeah.
Turn off your radio listening ears.
Yeah, I'll tell everybody the joke in 3 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yeah,
when we're done with
exactly.
the show.
Why did the monkey fall out of the tree?
I don't know. Why?
Because he was dead.
Oh,
How do you get a one-armed monkey out of a tree?
cut off his other arm.
Wave to it? I guess that
Yeah.
presupposes he's hanging. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe I need
or
to
that he
put that in
wouldn't
there.
bother to wave
Wave.
back.
Wait.
Right
Why
now,
would you?
Tess, right now, my daughter Tess is like cursing me right now because she loves to throw out dumb jokes, and we share them. Why am I blanking on all of?
I don't know. Do you think she's
Does she
listening?
listen?
She's not listening. No way.
Yeah, there's no way in my.
If she was, she's long gone.
Yeah, it's holiday week. It's a Halloween weekend, freshman year away at school. There's no way in hell she's listening.
She's passed out
Passed out. She's smoking weed and drawing
on the
pictures
quad,
It's
in
possible.
the quad. Yeah,
playing guitar,
drawing a
playing
picture of
folk
some
songs on the
boy in a
quad,
turtleneck
Yeah.
all
playing
emo.
songs on the guitar. What a blast! Now, oh wait, Jenny O'Connell
Jenny,
comes in. She says, "What's orange and sounds like a parrot?" And she's texting from London, I guess.
Casey
No,
knows.
she's in Newark.
Newark.
Newark, which is
Newark.
by Gatwick Airport. Kind of. Sorry.
Huh. So it's like the greater London area.
South Downs. No, South Downs. It's more Suffolk.
Suffolk, I see.
Okay.
So the airport's sort of the London airport.
So what's
not-
orange?
What's
and
orange and sounds like a parrot?
Well, I think she's not going to give us the answer. Any guesses?
Carrot.
Okay, see, now that's good. I like
Yeah.
that.
That's
That's a good, clean joke.
a clean joke. Wow.
Oh, what's invisible and smells like carrots? Bunny farts.
Well,
That's cute.
second bunny mention.
Now, where I grew up, you had to tell a joke when you trick or treated. Is
No.
this a thing anywhere else?
Do you remember
Really?
any?
No.
But yeah, no. And people in St. Louis, I grew up in St. Louis, and this is a thing. When you go to somebody's door, you have to tell a joke before you get candy. And St. Louis is the only place that does that. And it's great because the next day you know 100 new jokes. It's a good tradition.
Well,
Very
if
good
you're
tradition.
if you're at the house,
Tell the Halloween costume joke.
which one's that? I'm not remembering that joke. What?
Red.
Oh no!
No.
Again, I'm not telling that one. Oh yeah, exactly. Well, you can tell it. You brought it up.
No.
I don't think
I have
it's
to draw
good,
the
but
line
it's, no,
somewhere.
here it is.
I have
Yeah,
to draw
go.
the line.
Let's have it.
I have to draw the lines somewhere.
I don't really know it.
All right, here's one last joke, and then we're going to sign off. This one comes from Sarah Miller.
Yay,
Stinky
Sal.
Misses. What did the mathematician do when he had constipation? What are you whispering?
I don't know.
I know.
He worked it out with a pencil.
Oh, darling.
All
That's
right,
my
listen,
girl.
this has been a special Halloween edition of Correct Me If I'm Norm. Claire Marziotti, Casey Grady, Stinky Miller, thank you all for being here. Thanks to the Epicurean for hosting and Matt Rosenberg for making it all possible. Have a great weekend.
Yay.